Hello, hope you're all well. Hope you've been training hard this week. I think it's counties weekends, isn't it, at the moment? So hopefully, if you've been racing counties, hopefully it goes well. If you've got counties coming up, go and smash them. We've got something a little bit different for the video today. So I get quite a few questions, kind of privately and publicly, kind of asking about underwaters and kind of how they can make their underwaters better and kind of what have I done to make my underwaters better. And it's only kind of recently that I've been kind of comfortable to say that my underwaters are world class, or bordering on world class. I think that's a big component of my short course 100 fly being finally dropping under that 50-second barrier, where a lot of elite butterflies, especially in this country, have not reached that milestone. So I'll be providing you with my top 3 tips on how you can make your underwaters better. Now, none of these are about the technique of the fly kick. I think I'll save that for maybe another video, and we can talk about specific underwater drills, underwater cues, thank you laptop, and things like that, rather than these are very like, if you do these 3 things really well, even if your fly kick technique isn't the best, your underwater still will improve. Okay, so we'll get started with tip number 1. So we're going to start with streamline. So our streamline is really important because that's the foundation of our kicking position. If our streamline is poor, it doesn't matter how powerful we are, how much force we produce, how good our fly kicking technique is. If our streamline's poor, then we're not going to be able to utilise that, and then we're going to be slow. So when we think about streamlining, now go side on, run. Now ankles, knees, hips, basically in a line. There's going to be a little bit of kind of deviance. Then we want straight line then to shoulders and to hands. So we want to be something like this. So I've got a mirror behind you so I can see that is a nice straight position. Now sometimes we'll see people will be kind of here. Okay, that'll be their comfortable position. And then when they go up, they get this big arch in the back there. Okay, so what we want is that the pelvis to tilt. So we want that pelvis tilting through, shoulder blades back, and then in the streamline in there. Okay, so kind of one of the ways I explain it, if you are someone who's been in the gym before and kind of has done an RDL, if you set up like you would an RDL, to do an RDL, you unrack it, you'd have your hips would pull through, you'd be squeezing your glutes, your chest would be big, you would squeeze your shoulder blades back together, okay, and then go through the movement. So we want to be in that same position and then just streamline from there. And I like to think about pulling back with the top of the back and the shoulders to get there, and then fingers up. So a lot of the time when people think about streamline, all they think about is my arms are together and they're squeezing my ears. But like I said, if your natural position is here, then that's no good, because all that's going to happen is you're going to kick down, and for you to kick up, you're going to have to arch, which is going to slow you down. So some of the main causes of this kind of rubbish position is being tight here in these muscles around the back of your lats, or being tight here in the muscles on your chest with your pecs. I'm going to show you a couple of stretches now that I'll do kind of after every session to make sure that those muscles are loose and I can hit that good streamline position. Okay, so this first one, we're going to get I've got a band attached to the top of the rack. If you've not got a band, you can do this with a partner. Okay, and you're going to step back and you're going to lean, tilt your body away from that band so that this side is elongated. Okay, we'll just hold that for somewhere 20 seconds-ish. And then we'll go other side. And again, we're trying to make this, you should feel it kind of here under your armpit a little bit. You can do this with a partner. You can both hold hands, hold wrists, and then you both get that stretch We're going to do the same again, but instead of our hand being overhand, we're going to go underhand. The hands underneath, and again, we're twisting our body away from that arm and that lat. And then we'll switch sides. So this would be the same if you did it partners. You might go hand over, hand one way, then hand holding the other way. To stretch our pecs, we've got two benches set up here. Okay, I'm going to have them kind of shoulder width-ish apart. I'm just going to sink down. My knees are down. I'm going to sink down into like a press-up kind of position, pushing my chest down towards the floor. I'm going to hold this for a bit. And press through. I'm going to do this probably 2, maybe 3 times, kind of depending on how well it's feeling. So we should be stretching really after every session and stretching a full body, but these are kind of the specifics for the streamline and things that tend to hinder the streamline. So if you specifically get these done, there are other ways to stretch your pecs, which I will show you kind of in a second. But this is my favourite. This is by far the most extreme that I've come across. But it is reliant, of course, on 2 surfaces that you can stretch on. So you can also use a wall or again a partner with your arm then at 90 degrees and rotate your hips away from that head. You should feel it across the chest here. And so if you've given those a go, retest your streamline afterwards. Okay, so that took, I know, a couple of minutes, probably longer just because I was kind of talking. But if we get into that position, like that, even for me now, that's a lot easier to get into. I'm nice and tall. We go on tiptoes. As soon as I push off a wall in that position, I can then kick from there. And I'm going to be nice and powerful. So that's step 1 of getting a good, strong underwater kick, is getting the streamline. And you get to practice that every single session. Every time you push off a wall, you should be pushing off in that perfect streamline. You can feel the corrections. And another good way of kind of feeling that is by floating. So if you spend a few minutes at the end of the session just floating on the surface of the water, you'll be able to feel, okay, it's my head's a bit low, my hips are sinking, my legs aren't staying high in the water. As soon as there's a bit of compromise in that position, your whole body's going to sink, okay, and you won't be floating. Okay, so that's part 1. We'll go on to part 2 now. So tip number 2 in improving the quality of your underwaters is to get your hamstrings strong. So your hamstrings are responsible for the upbeat of the kick. Now, when we're talking about the upbeat, we know when we kick down, we straighten our legs, we kick down, and most people are really powerful kicking down. Okay, and then our upbeat is then our knees bending, the heels travel back up towards your bum. So the reason that's important is that most people are really strong coming down and really weak coming back up. So you get a lot of this kind of kick, 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 whereas really we want the whole motion fluid. Okay, so your hamstrings are responsible for that movement. If you've got strong hamstrings, you can kick up much harder, much more aggressively. So I've got 3 exercises that are going to improve your hamstring strength. Now, it's not worth doing all of these at once. We tend to do a main one and then a accessory one. So one of the main ones might be this, which is an RDL. So what happens when we RDL is that we put a lot of stress on that hamstring in the lengthened position there. Okay, the next one that probably is my favorite for kind of developing that hamstring strength is this is a feet elevated bridge. This is a video from just last week. Okay, so we've got our feet on a box. Okay, our toes are pointing up to the ceiling, and all that's working there is our hamstring. Okay, so I'm to propel that weight up towards the ceiling. And if you have a go at that one, you'll really feel it. So those might be the two that I like. I also like a split stance RDL. So you just have your feet staggered. Again, same principle. Just send your hips back, which puts the emphasis of the weight on your hamstrings. And so then we can have like a couple or one exercise really that we would want to do kind of once a week, kind of in addition to like the big heavy movement. And so one of the best for these is Nordics. So Nordics, you have your heels under something, and just like here, you let yourself kind of fall as far as you can. And if you can get back up, great. If you control as far as you can all the way down to the floor, then use your hands to get yourself back up. That's fine. Again, if you do this, you will feel that hamstring contracting. You'll feel it get a bit crampy, a little bit twitchy, which is really good. You'll really notice the strength on there. The kind of other exercise might be like a lying machine curl, which is almost like the fly kick position. You can do that with single leg, double leg, whatever. Really what we want to do is make our hamstrings really strong so that we can connect the upbeat. I think if you're able to feel your hamstrings, the upbeat is naturally better. That's what I found when my kick improved. I was kind of aware of my hamstrings contracting and that bringing the heels up and getting the power from that to then go into the downbeat. So that's tip 2. Let's get into tip number 3. So the third and final tip I've got for you to improve in your underwaters is have a kick count and stick to it. So all too often, really, when you ask people, how many kicks do you do in that race? I don't know. How many kicks do you do in training? I don't know. So the only way I think to consistently hit those underwaters is through having a count. Okay, so when I was 16, Andy Manley coached me at the time, and he said to me, Jamie, if we've got any chance of you making the European Juniors team, we need to improve your underwater kicking. We need to do less of the race as swim. Obviously, the swim is very fatiguing. That's why we want the underwater kicks to kind of be there instead. So we settled on a number. That number was 6, and he said to me, regardless, every wall of fly you do now has to have 6 kicks. Doesn't matter if we're going max, if we're going best average, if we're going threshold, aerobic, kick, drill, whatever. Even if you're completely fatigued, it doesn't matter. That is the non-negotiable on your fly swimming now, is that it's 6 fly kicks and that's it. And okay, and it's hard for a bit. It is hard, but then eventually, kind of a couple of months, 6 kicks becomes comfortable, and you go, oh, I can do this. I'm comfortable doing it. I'm confident doing 6 kicks. I'm confident that I can then attack 6 kicks. So what do? We bump it to 7, and again, 7 suddenly is a little bit harder. But eventually we can do that to 8, 9, 10, to the point now where on my 100 fly long course, my plan is to go 11 kicks off that turn. That will take me to just shy of 15, probably 13-ish meters, kind of when we get to that race day under that race environment. I should say that even though my underwaters did improve, I didn't make European Juniors. I think that kind of strengthens this is not a quick fix, and it's not a short-term gain. This is kind of all these 3 tips that I've shared with you today, kind of for long-term sustainable improvement of your fly kicks. I know I saw an interview recently with Noah Ponte, and he said that he doesn't count his kicks, he just does it off feel, and that's fine for Ponte, but you are not Noah Ponte, more than likely. So I bet Chad Leclos is the same, just does it off feel, but you are not like them. Okay, statistically you're just not. And so for people like us to get better at fly kicks, we have to have a number. We have to stick to that number no matter what. Okay, so if you combine that with the perfect streamline and those strong hamstrings that we've spoken about already, there's only one direction your fly kicks are going, and that's forwards and quickly. So yeah, that's the end of tip 3. Count your kicks and stick to it. So that's it. My 3 tips there for improving your underwaters. So
having that perfect streamline and checking it. Get your friends to help you check your friends, make sure you're all perfectly streamlining. Get your hamstring strong. Now, if you're following an S&C program that doesn't have any hamstring-based exercises, have a chat with your S&C coach, your actual coach. Just see they might have reasons, but I think hamstrings are really important to get strong. And third, having that kick count and sticking to it kind of no matter what, no matter your event, what the session is comprised of, always hitting that target. So I hope you find those useful. Hope you find those they make sense and you're able to implement them into your swimming. If you want my help on a more personal level, you can. I'm available for mentoring on my website, jingramswimming.com, where you can also have race analysis, training plans, all that kind of thing. If you like the t-shirt, the Please Don't Drown Club that is done, then they can get them on Amazon. Just search for Please Don't Drown Club. Please Don't Drown Club. There's loads of different designs and all different sizes, colours, whatever you want, all through Amazon. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.